This is Ray Schulte, and I'm telling you, the Sports Card Strategy Show, there is no off-season.
Hey guys, Andy Broom, Vice President of CGC Cards, and you're listening to the Sports Card Strategy Show, and there's no off-season.
What's up, everybody? I'm Paul Hickey with NoOffSeason.com. This is the Sports Card Strategy Show. Don't forget to get a free 30-day trial at NoOffSeason.com today to help you make money flipping sports cards, build your sports card investment portfolio, get unlimited advice from our experts, and take sports card school to navigate the hobby. That's NoOffSeason.com. Get your free 30-day trial today. All the data we use on the Sports Card Strategy Show is from MarketMoversApp.com. Use code NOOFFSEASON at MarketMoversApp.com to get 20% off for life after a free 14-day trial. All right, let's get to the Sports Card Strategy. What's up, everybody? I'm Paul Hickey with NoOffSeason.com. This is the Sports Card Strategy Show. It is Monday, June 17th. I hope everyone out there had a great Father's Day. And it's time to help you make money flipping sports cards. On today's show, we're going to talk about 5 of our top opportunities to buy, raw, and grade. We're going to preview some new sports card school lessons that have dropped recently that I'm excited about. We've got a Will They Gem segment and hobby questions with Denny One-Time Dodson, Duke Denny One-Time Dodson of Graybos, as many of you know. And we got a couple questions I want to ask you guys, but first it's time for a little bit of live chat love. Justin Stewart in the house. What's up, Justin? Anybody else who jumps into the live chat will get a shout out throughout the show. And remember to drop a comment below at youtube.com/Paul Hickey. And I got a couple questions for all of you out there. Joe Reinsch in the house says good morning. Good morning to Joe. It might be the morning, it might be the afternoon when you're watching or listening to this. And good morning, good afternoon to everybody. Hope you're having a great time in the hobby. And the first question I have for all of you on today's show is, are you ready to start grading your cards? CGC Cards is the perfect place to slab your favorite sports cards, from their crystal clear holders to their affordable pricing. CGC Cards is the perfect stop for your grading needs. Go to cgccards.com to start grading today. We're all finalizing our plans for the National, which is coming up in just over a month from tomorrow. I will be leaving on my flight to Cleveland, Ohio, and I'm excited about that. Hope to see many of you out there and hope to see our great partners at CGC Cards there as well. Before we get to the second question, a little bit more live chat love. Brian Macklin says, what's Hickey? What is Hickey to you as well? Brian, are you related to Jeremy Macklin, formerly of the Philadelphia Eagles? Sergeant Slabs in the house. Matt Rubin, Jabroni Cards. What is up? We got live chat on and popping here. All right, everybody. Since we want to interact with each other, now is the time for the second question. This is your question of the day I have for you. Yesterday was Father's Day. Yesterday was also the final round of the 124th U.S. Open golf tournament. Happened at Pinehurst number 2. A lot of history there. Hard course. And the golf card market is really, really strong, actually. It's different than the market of the other sports because you don't have consistent releases of sets. You've got Upper Deck that typically puts out sets but has to sign individual players because the PGA Tour does not operate the same way that some of the other major sports leagues operate in terms of a collective bargaining agreement with the Players Association. So individual name, image, and likeness deals have to be signed. And so you end up with the result of some golfers have cards, other golfers don't. Some golfers have a lot of investable cards. Some golfers might have one investable card. So we've talked a little bit about that on the Sports Card Strategy Show with guys like Scotty Scheffler. His 2017 SI for Kids card is kind of his only investable card. But then you've got guys like the final two, the two finalists, the winner and the runner-up of yesterday's U.S. Open, Rory McIlroy, the runner-up, and Bryson DeChambeau, the winner, now the two-time winner of the U.S. Open, with a lot of investable cards. So my question of the day to you all out there in the audience, nooffseason.com fam, answer it. Bryson and Rory, buy, sell, or hold. Again, the golf card market is smaller than basketball, baseball, and football, but there are a ton of opportunities to buy the right card for the right golfer at the right time and flip for profit. So Bryson and Rory, buy, sell, or hold. Would love for you to answer this by commenting at youtube.com/Paul Hickey on this video or on our pinned post on IG. Follow Sports Card Strategy. Check out Sports Card Strategy on IG. Find the pinned post. Let us know. Bryson and Rory, buy, sell, or hold. And let's jump into a little bit of data here, as we like to do on the show consistently. There were quite a few card sales for Bryson and Rory recently. Not many massive sales, I will say. But I mean, Rory and Bryson have a strong market. And, in terms of Rory, he's got, when you look at market movers, as much as we love market movers, you can go to marketmoversapp.com and save 20% after a free 14-day trial using the promo code NOOFFSEASON. As much as we love market movers, it doesn't really track that many golf cards. You've got Rory's 2011 Sports Illustrated for Kids cards in here, going for about $145 in PSA 8. Not many sales of that card recently. You've got Rory has an SP Authentic rookie auto. That's a very investable card for Rory. Bryson is in several of the upper deck sets, artifacts, and Rory's in several of the upper deck sets as well throughout the years. You're going to have Rory's rookie in 2014. Although Rory has a 2013 upper deck Precious Metal Gems employee exclusive, serial numbered out of 125. So that is a very desirable card, a purple out of 125. Bryson's rookies are going to be out of 2021 releases. Upper Deck came out with several releases in 2021. But then when you look at eBay and you look at the auctions still happening as of Monday, June 17th, in the middle of the afternoon here, you have several auctions still going for a lot of Rory McIlroy cards. He has a 2014 SP Authentic Moments card that has a higher pop count in PSA 10. A lot of people are auctioning that card off today. And then you've got Bryson. You've got a lot of Bryson cards. Like, here's one that just went up for auction yesterday upon the win. Already 9 bids, $56, 6 days, 6 hours remaining. His 2021 Pro Set Auto Portraits, PSA 9, serial numbered out of 15. So, and then you've got some, let's see if we can find like a Bryson upper deck. Oh, here's one. Here's a better one. SP Game Used Auto, Rookie Patch Auto, serial numbered out of 299. Rookie First Tee Patch. So one of the better DeChambeau rookie cards, wearing the Payne Stewart hat, right, that he used to wear. Now he wears the Crushers hat. 4 bids, 2 days left. It's already up over $107.50. He's got nice penmanship, Bryson does. So I like that rookie auto there from Bryson. Just a little bit of golf card data here on a Monday. Let me know if you're buying, selling, holding Bryson and Rory. You hate to see Rory miss two putts inside 3 feet. Those are his first and second missed putts inside 3 feet this year. You hate to see it, but definitely loved seeing Bryson take it home. Let me know what you guys think in the comments at youtube.com/Paul Hickey. Brian Macklin is confirming that Jeremy Macklin is his brother. That's amazing. And a lot of great stuff happening in the live chat right now. So again, if you can't get into the live chat, don't worry. Just drop a comment below at youtube.com/Paul Hickey or follow us on Instagram at Sports Card Strategy and participate in some of the comments on the posts. And again, back to the buy, sell, hold question real quick. That was kind of spurred on by the fact that when someone has a performance spike, what do we do? What do we do, nooffseason.com fam? We typically list their card for sale. So while there's not a whole lot of sales data out there on golf cards, now is probably a good time to list either one of these guys if you have them, because they are at the top of their game. Even though Rory didn't win, he kind of pooped his pants at the end. He still had a great final round, and he's still one of the top 3 to 5 golfers in the world at all times. And he's always in contention. So as we look toward the next major, the Open, you will see a lot of interest in these guys' cards. So I think now is a good time to list. And if you're wondering whether or not you should list a card, we look at data all the time and we send out free sell alerts. So if you're new to the nooffseason.com fam, you're new to the Sports Card Strategy Show, you should text the words sports cards to 1-833-992-5727. Again, one more time, sports cards, text those words to 1-833-992-5727. And then what will happen is you will get sell alerts, and we're not sending one out just yet for Bryson and Rory, because, you know, there's not enough data to say what these cards were purchased for and what they're selling for just yet. However, maybe you'll see a sell alert for them in the near future. All right, everybody. Building time machines in the house. Good to see you. It's time for the meat and potatoes of today's show, which on Mondays, what we do, for those of you who aren't familiar, is we look at some of the top 5 sports card opportunities to make money buying raw and grading. Okay. And what we did was we built a formula to help us understand how to prioritize cards to buy raw, grade, and then put us in a position where if we want to, we can sell right when we get them back from the grading company. Now, the grading company that I mentioned earlier in the show is CGC. They're a great partner of the nooffseason.com sports card network. They're not the grading company that we would necessarily recommend for what we're about to talk about, though. They're a great grading company for maybe perfect PC protection, or if you're looking to hold cards down the line, 5, 6, 7 years from now. They are a very reputable company, and we do believe 5, 6, 7 years from now, they could definitely be in the running for selling on the secondary market for as much as PSA does now. We've seen crazier things happen in the hobby. We've seen PSA really overtake Beckett. PSA is the company, though, that you should be grading with to improve the value of your card on the secondary market and maximize the value of your card on the secondary market related to selling on eBay or other marketplaces like MySlabs, or even in person at card shows. So all those things combined are the secondary market. That's what I mean when I say secondary market. So what we're going to do here is we're going to count down from the 5th, not necessarily the 5th best card within the formula, but we cherry pick, 5 to 7 cards every Monday, and they're at the top of the formula-based ranking. So the reason we built the formula is to prioritize, because there's millions and millions and millions of cards out there. And so basically, it's easy to get lost. It's easy to get way off track and think, oh, well, if I get this card in a PSA 10, it's going to go up in value, or I should be able to sell this card in a PSA 10 for way more than I'm going to buy it for raw, etc. But what the formula takes into account is far more than that. Not only does it take into account low buy-in point for raw and highest upside for PSA 10, but it takes into account what are all the other grades that you're likely to get and what would they sell for when you get them back from PSA based on the gem rate. It also takes into account all of your fees on the front end and on the back end. So we're going to give you a snipe price. Snipe price is the same thing as target price. And if you want all of this information, just go to nooffseason.com. If you're not a premium member yet, get a free 30-day trial, and you're going to get all of this information. But what I like to do is give it to you for free on the Sports Card Strategy Show every Monday from a raw to grade perspective. So up first is a 2022 rookie in the NBA, number 1 player on his team. They made the playoffs this year. We've talked about this card a lot on the Sports Card Strategy Show over the last 6 to 8 months. It is now at a point where it is settled. It is now at a point where people are not thinking about this player. And it is now at a point where the formula loves it the most that the formula has ever loved it from a raw to grade perspective. And this card is Paolo Banchero, his 2022 Prism Silver 249 raw, snipe price, last sold $52.91. Now this is from back in April, right? So however, you know, we go on last comps. And the more recent comps was it sold 2 days ago for $41, right? It sold it sold yesterday for $63. It sold last week for $44. So we've got a target snipe price on this of 52, which is kind of in the middle, right? It's in the middle. Now, you can get it for as low as 41. Chances are that one's probably not going to gem. You never know. This one at 63 is a little bit more premium. So the average price of this card in the last 365 days is 59. We feel like the average price of this card in the last, more like the last 30 days, because it's a very liquid card, is at $52 where it was back in April. So from April through June, it's settled. It's at that $52 mark. That would be your snipe price. Now in PSA 10, this card is going for $303. So the formula absolutely loves this card. The formula gives this card a 24% ROI as of right now. That's massive. That's massive because basically all you have to do to make 24% ROI likely is buy as many copies of this card as you can for as close to that $53 cost average, right, of your snipe price, all fees and everything included. When you get all of your cards back, all of these Paolo Banchero cards back from PSA, you should be at an average of a 24% ROI. So that means you're going to spend about 50. You're going to make about, what would 25% of 50 be? You'd make about 15, 20 bucks profit. But you can make a lot more than that if you get the PSA 10, of course, right? So this 24% is an average, right, of what you would make on a per card basis. But the upside, you're still going to get the upside of the PSA 10, and that's why we like it. So we're going to stick to the sport of basketball, but this time we're going to go a little bit different direction. We're going to go the WNBA, and we're not going to go Caitlin Clark. We're going to go Caitlin Clark's teammate, the number 1 overall pick in the 2023 WNBA draft, Aaliyah Boston. And I want to shout out Skeeter Robinson. Skeeter Robinson is a loyal NoOffSeason.com family member. He's a premium member. He's a loyal listener of the Sports Card Strategy Show. And Skeeter brought up Aaliyah Boston a few months ago. And he said, do you think that Caitlin Clark joining the Fever, who at the time, had the number 1 pick, and Caitlin Clark was projected to be the number 1 pick in the WNBA draft, and that materialized. Skeeter said, look, if this happens, what do you think is going to happen to Aaliyah Boston's sports card prices? And so I did a little bit of research, because as much as we love market movers, there wasn't a whole lot of data in market movers on WNBA cards, and there wasn't really any data on Aaliyah Boston cards. So I did our own research for the formula from the eBay sold listings and from 130 Point, and I put those into the formula at nooffseason.com. And what came back is Aaliyah Boston, her 2023 Prism Silver 133, has enough sales data from a raw to grade standpoint to tell us that if you can get it for around $17 raw and grade it at PSA, if it looks gradable, there's a 36% ROI on that card. So that's a very formula friendly card. And Aaliyah Boston recently has been on fire. The Fever have won their last 2 games. Boston dominated with a career high 27 points in a win over the Atlanta Dream. And then the next game against the Chicago Sky, she had, 19 points, 11 rebounds, and basically lit it up. So Aaliyah Boston, you can get her raw Prism Silver. You should be able to get it for under $20. There's a sale of it for $16 that looks really well centered. Looks like it's in great condition. yesterday, June 16th. Another sale of her raw Prism Silver, $11.50. So you can get this for under the snipe price, and then it is selling in PSA 10, oftentimes for very, very close to $100. But in the formula, we've accounted for all the different variables that can happen with the grading, with the fees, and with the sales prices. And the formula still likes this Aaliyah Boston card at a 36% ROI. So there you go. So far on the Sports Card Strategy Show today, you've got two different great opportunities, two different great basketball players. And now we're going to go to somebody who's been way more hyped up than Aaliyah Boston and a different, very different professional league, the NFL. Anthony Richardson, his 2023 Prism Laser 343. Now, I would say that Anthony Richardson might be one of the more polarizing players in NFL circles right now, just because he could definitely be a dud, like if he doesn't bounce back from his injuries, or he could be a freaking stud. And I'm a little bit more willing to believe, just because my nature is to be a little bit more positive than negative. I'm kind of a glass half full person. And my nature is to say he's going to be a stud, because I think he's going to stay healthy and he has the athleticism that is going to be very, very hard for defenses to keep up with. And if the Indianapolis Colts coaching staff can put him in a position to succeed, which I believe they will, I think Anthony Richardson is going to have an amazing year. Drop a comment below. Let me know what you think at youtube.com/Paul Hickey about Anthony Richardson. But I'll tell you what, regardless of all of that, the sports card gods don't really care about player performance. The sports card gods care about things like, can you make money going from raw to grade using the nooffseason.com formula? And what I'm going to say is you can, because the formula likes it at a $44 snipe price. And the last sale was earlier today for $47. So it's right at that snipe price. The average of this card over the last 365 days, $45. So you can get this card raw, his 2023 Prism Laser 343 for around $44. It's going to sell in PSA 10, most likely for around this $154 mark, which it last sold yesterday for $154. The 365-day average is $165. The formula loves this because there's a high gem rate on this card. So if you can find a gradable copy of it for around the snipe price of, let's just say $44, $45, you have a 43% ROI on this card. And you can make a ton of money on this card, because this card is super liquid. It sells multiple times every day. You should be able to find it in gradable condition. It's only pop 887 in PSA 10. So it's a variation of the base card that's not quite as expensive as the silver. It's not going to sell for as much in PSA 10 as the silver, but that means its entry-level price raw is going to be more achievable. So it's achievable, it's desirable, it's liquid, it's got a high upside in a PSA 10, high gem rate. The formula loves it, 43% ROI if you can get it at the snipe price of around $44. So that is the number 3 opportunity. The number 2 opportunity, we're sticking with the NFL. We're sticking with young quarterbacks. A lot of people forget this next guy was in the Super Bowl last year, and he's an amazing quarterback. And his team is only getting better. The San Francisco 49ers and Brock Purdy are who I'm talking about here. And his Prism Silver 2022, card number 353, raw, is going for around $182. $182. Now, that was a sale yesterday. There was a sale last week that was $250. And there was a sale the previous week that was $325, but there was also a sale that was $213. Now, I have to believe that this is more condition related than anything else, right? Because we're talking about raw cards. It's possible that the 182 sale yesterday, the condition of that card was not as good as the condition of the 325 sale a couple of weeks ago. However, everything goes based on the most recent comp. So if you find a card that's gradable, that looks like it could gem, of Brock Purdy's 2022 Prism Silver Raw, chances are, because of the latest comp yesterday of 182, you can definitely get it for closer to $200 than you could before. So even at a snipe price of 240, so it's sold. This is how I'm gonna work this out. Just so bear with me here. Even at a snipe price of 240, which is much more realistic for a card that could gem than the 182 mark, the formula gives us an ROI of 47%. So this is a card that I've been targeting because I built the formula for myself. I launched it to the public right after I built it for myself. But ever since I built it at nooffseason.com, that's where you can get it, I've been using it. I mean, I use it. Like I base all of my first eBay searches around, if I want to go raw to grade, what's highest in the rankings, and can I find a potentially gemmable copy of that card on eBay? So I go to nooffseason.com, I go to the formula-based rankings, I click on the card, it takes me to the player profile page, I click on the photo of the card that I was talking about on the player profile page, and it takes me to an eBay search. And then I just go through eBay, try to find the card, and bid on it if it's a gemmable, potentially gemmable copy. So Brock Purdy's 2022 Prism Silver 353 is a great card. High gem rate and achievable. Anything, I know a lot of you out there are not wanting to spend necessarily $200 on a raw card. In fact, on today's list, this is the most expensive raw card that we're talking about. So Banchero, you're under $60. Aaliyah Boston, you're under 20. Anthony Richardson, you're under 50. Brock Purdy, you're over 200. And in some cases, you might be over 300. But I don't want you to go that high. I want you to stick to the snipe price of 240. I want you to try to find a gradable copy. Buy it, send it into PSA. Still more than enough time. There's still more than enough time, everybody out there, to get your cards graded, because more on this later in the week and into next week. But hello? That's my Ring doorbell. FedEx. Boom. Got it. Many of you probably wonder, I don't know, like, who's he talking to? Listen, here's the deal. My Ring doorbell is saving me from having to go down during the middle of the sports card strategy show and stop the show and then come back, because I've actually had to do that. So when there's a PSA package coming via FedEx now, all I have to do is just boom, Alexa lets me know, and I'm in the mix. Okay, back to what I was talking about. You got Brock Purdy's 2022 Prism Silver PSA 10, 47% ROI. Not many of you want to spend that much on sports cards. So what I've done is I've pulled another one that's under $50. So let's go to it. Back to the NBA, perhaps the number one overall opportunity. Now you got to go back to 2018 for this one. So you're going to be in a position where the gem rate isn't necessarily going to be the greatest indicator of what you could get in today's market. But Jalen Brunson's 2018 Prism Silver Raw at a snipe price of around $40. Now, the last one did sell yesterday for $63. But there was one last week that sold for there was one 2 days ago that sold for $47. There was one last week that sold for $40. So what I've done is I've put a snipe price of around $35 on Jalen Brunson's Prism Silver 250. Why? Because the average in the last 365 days is about 39, and it's sold for as low as 47 and 40, and as low as 35 twice this month. So if at a $35 snipe price for Jalen Brunson's 2018 Prism Silver Raw, that's a 46% ROI. So it's right up there with Brock Purdy. And if in PSA 10, it sells for $325. Now, again, the Brock Purdy card in PSA 10 does sell for around 745. And if you think about these last two cards, because they're right neck and neck with each other, right? You've got 47% ROI for the Purdy if you can get it around 240, and then you've got 46% ROI for the Brunson if you can get it around 35 or 40. But when you think about a selling marker, typically an NFL quarterback is going to have a solid selling marker of September, because September is when NFL quarterbacks come out blazing, and the hot ones, the ones for the best teams and the hot quarterbacks, all of a sudden get hyped up on potential MVP candidacy. And that drives their card prices bonkers, right? So late August, early September is typically a great selling marker. And we start to see quarterback prices rise around the National. So we're going to talk about the National much more in the coming episodes of the Sports Card Strategy Show. In fact, we've got an interview with Ray Schulte of the National coming up in an upcoming episode. I'm excited to air that interview with Ray. But from a sports card pricing standpoint, typically we see NFL quarterbacks pricing rise at the National and for a couple months after the National before the midseason dip. So when you look at, hey, should I spend money on Jalen Brunson or should I spend money on Brock Purdy? Even though Brunson has a lower buy-in point, he has a little bit less upside in his PSA 10. And Brock Purdy, I think this 745 last sale of his PSA 10, quite frankly, I think this is $1,000 card. I mean, this card sold for $1,100 during the playoffs. It sold for $1,100 in October. It sold for $1,300 in October last year. It sold for $1,100 in September. It sold for $975, $882, really before Brock Purdy had even done anything last year. So when you talk about NFL quarterbacks, you're putting yourself in a position to make even more money from a raw to grade standpoint now, because there's plenty of time to get these cards graded by PSA. I think that was my point before my FedEx guy came to the door with my PSA package a second ago and interrupted the show. But we're back on track. There are a ton of different ways to make money flipping sports cards. That raw to grade scenario from the formula that I walk everybody through every Monday, I try to pick some different cards. That's just one way. That's just one way to make money flipping sports cards. And before we get into several more ways to make money flipping sports cards, let's say hello to the live chat again. Since we last checked in with the live chat, basically, some of my favorites have jumped in here. Rusty M. McGart, what's up? Sean Red 5 Cards, good to see you. Hector, one of my new favorites, good to see you. And George Schur, appreciate the live chat. Ted Roberts is in the house. Good to see you, Ted. Thanks for coming into the live chat. All right. So one thing I want to talk about real quick has to do with some different concepts that we need to pay attention to when we're looking to make money flipping sports cards. And there's no better place to go to find concepts and tactics, both concepts and tactics, than Sports Card School. Sports Card School at nooffseason.com, or you can type in sportscardschool.com. It's going to take you to the same place. But basically, everybody, I have dropped every lesson for every course now. So now you can go to nooffseason.com or sportscardschool.com and you can see complete courses. We have 3 complete courses. We have Re-Entering the Hobby, the entry-level sports card collecting and flipping course. We have Advanced Sports Card Flipping, Fund Your PC and Your Life. And I just completed, I think it's the hardest course, not to take, but for me to actually create, is the high-end sports card investment strategy. How to win as a high roller is what I'm calling it. And I just want to go over some of the concepts from the high roller course, because it's really not what you would think. I think that everybody out there thinks that you can just kind of throw money at sports cards. And if you buy like the Michael Jordans, the Mickey Mantles, the Willie Mays, Jackie Robinsons, Wayne Gretzky's, Joe Montana's. Like, if you buy the GOATs or the Tom Brady, whatever, then you're just going to make money. You're going to beat the S&P 500. You're going to beat inflation, blah, blah, blah. That's bullcrap. All of that is bullcrap. It's BS. You're not guaranteed any of that. Really, what I've learned is that if you want to be a high roller flipping sports cards, meaning you want to go through like 5 figures of money regularly, maybe monthly, maybe quarterly on sports cards, you got to be in and out quicker than anybody else. It's the opposite of a set it and forget it game. It's a grind. You need to forget everything you think you know. Sports card investing is nothing like the stock market or mutual funds. And there's some data in this lesson in sports card school that absolutely goes through this. So there's basically 6 principles to becoming a high roller. And Sean Red 5 Cards said that he's been through the high roller course, and he says, so well written, incredible content, Paul. I can't tell you how much that means to me, Sean. That really means a lot to me. I plan on adding some videos to supplement the written high roller course. Most of the lessons in the beginner and the advanced flipper course have videos. There are very few lessons at Sports Card School that aren't video and written. The high roller course currently is only written because I just really want people to pay attention to it and grasp it. But I will probably add some videos in the future, most likely after the national. But principle number 1 is speed wins. You have to move in and out of cards quickly and be first to the market. Principle number 2 is the top comp is a myth and doesn't exist. Always take profits. Principle number 3, understand what the market wants, especially when that means your gut feelings, predictions, and opinions don't matter. Learn to love what the market loves. Understand what the market wants. That means your gut feelings, predictions, and opinions don't matter. Learn to love what the market loves if you want to be a high roller. Principle number 4, and I really like this one. We talked about this one kind of earlier in the show. There was some foreshadowing towards this one in our top 5 sports card investment opportunities to buy raw and grade at PSA. You don't have to buy expensive cards to be a high roller. High rollers can and should deal in lower dollar cards as they're easier to move in and out of. Principle number 5, higher dollar cards are harder to move in and out of, making it hard to execute a strategy for principle number 1, which was speed wins. So it's almost like it's counterintuitive, but to be a high roller, you really don't need to be holding too many high dollar cards. Otherwise, you're shooting yourself in the foot from that speed wins principle. So it kind of all goes together. Principle number 6 is only buy low. Only buy at the snipe price that we talk about, right? The snipe price is critical. Why? Because you can. You're the one spending the money. Buying low is key to being a high roller because buying low is building in your profit margin so you can make moves without worrying about market factors. So forget everything you need to know. Forget everything. Sorry, I said that wrong. Forget everything you think you know and go take our Sports Card School high roller class. And then one other thing that I think is interesting, and I want to talk to Lefty about this on a future episode on a Wednesday show coming up, is I really think that portfolio diversification, we need to tweak the way we talk about portfolio diversification. For the last 3 years, really, we've talked about portfolio diversification being related to GOATs, heroes, and flyers. So raise your hand. Go ahead, wherever you are. If you're running, walking the dog, working out, driving, whatever, raise your hand right now if you've heard us talk about GOATs, heroes, and flyers. I'm throwing all that out the window because I think when you diversify between the following factors, it's going to be much more relevant to our sports card strategy. So one is, and this has to do with the speed wins principle. How do you move in and out quickly, right? And again, there's more on this at sportscardschool.com and nooffseason.com. But I think it's important to diversify between quick flips, intermediate plays, and long-term holds. So instead of diversifying between players or types of players, what you do is you diversify between sets of cards that you're going to hold for different time periods. So you diversify across time periods that you're going to hold each card. So you have some cards that you're planning on holding for only 3 or 4 weeks, some cards that you're planning on holding for 1 to 3 months, and other cards that you're planning on holding between 4 to 12 months. So you've got quick flips, intermediate plays, and long-term holds. So you could have a GOAT like Michael Jordan still be a quick flip, while a flyer like Scoot Henderson could still be a long-term hold. And I think that's why it makes sense to kind of throw out the terminology of GOATs, heroes, and flyers a little bit and replace it with the terminology of quick flips, intermediate plays, and longer-term holds. I also think it's important to diversify between raw to grade plays and already graded plays. That's why we talk about raw to grade on Monday and already graded on Wednesday, because I want you to diversify. I want you to do a little bit of both, because on the raw to grade plays, you have a plan for the card. The plan is to buy raw, grade, and sell ASAP. When you buy an already graded card, you're fully dependent on a selling marker. So those are two very, very different things. So you have to diversify between those two things. If you put all your eggs in the raw to grade basket, you're risking not getting enough PSA 10s in the process to truly win big. This is why buying the right card for the right player at the right time, but diversifying between raw to grade and already graded is important. So again, to really be a high roller, and I just finished the high roller course, you really need to diversify between these things so that you can hit that principle number 1 of speed wins. So that's just a preview of what's going on at Sports Card School. Again, new lessons, high roller course is launched. All 3 courses are complete. Go check it out. sportscardschool.com. Get a free 30-day trial if you're not already a member. Endorsed by Sean Red 5 Cards and many, many other members of the nooffseason.com fam. Thank you. All right. It's time for Will It Gem, and I'm gonna bring up some cards that I've cracked recently and that I have submitted to PSA. My package has arrived in Newport Beach, California, the P.O. box that we all know so well. I believe it's 6180 Newport Beach. I think I've sent so many packages there, I know it by heart, but somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Drop a comment below. Let me know. All right. What I'm going to do is show you myself cracking these cards, and I think I've already shown you these in slabs, but I'll just kind of reiterate that a lot of my plays are formula based. You know, I built the formula for myself. We do have some player profile pages at nooffseason.com where it's formula based, but it's crack and submit. So it's a little bit different than raw to grade. And then there are some articles for premium members that I drop all the time. And those will include just things that aren't necessarily in the formula, but just other plays that I like. And so I think that, you know, a lot of the cards that you might see in this particular segment that I'm going to talk about, some of them are related to the formula. Some of them are related to some articles that I've written, but either way, I've done my research. So again, one is the Tiger Woods 2001 Upper Deck. The formula loves that card. Raw, the snipe price is under $20, and there's high upside to that card in PSA 10. There's a surprisingly high gem rate. There's actually upside to that card in PSA 9 as well. And so I bought a BGS 9.5 of this card for $100 and cracked it and submitted it. And on a previous episode of the Sports Card Strategy Show, I wanted to make sure that I say that when you buy a BGS 9.5 and crack it, you have to make sure that if you get a PSA 9, you're not losing too much money. You're not you always have to look at the PSA 9 price. Okay. So I think that's important. I want to reiterate that. And again, Tiger Woods 2001, in this case, Upper Deck number 1, in this case, BGS 9.5, but the formula likes it raw. All right. Next card here is Joe. This happened to be, now this is a hard card to put in the formula just because there's not much sales data on it, but a Joe Burrow bronze 2020 Donruss rated rookie. And it's a bronze card. So it's more, has like, it's optic bronze. So it's definitely not that paper card stock, definitely that chromium feel. Great card. It got a BGS 9.5 and I got it for significantly less than what it goes for in a PSA 10 and around for what it goes for in a PSA 9. So again, that's the play. But like I said earlier in the show, when you can get a quarterback, like Tiger Woods doesn't necessarily have a big selling marker coming up, but I think Joe Burrow does. I think getting to see Joe Burrow back on the field and play well again is a solid selling marker for him. And that's coming up in a couple of months. So again, PSA's turning around cards very quickly. And I should have these back. So up next, this is just a Chronicles Jalen Hurts 2020 Prism Black. It's just a base card. But I got this for super cheap in a BGS 9.5, significantly cheaper than what a PSA 10 sells for, and around what a PSA 9 sells for. So again, all of those types of purchases in a BGS 9.5 are solid purchases if you plan on cracking and submitting them to PSA. Jabroni Cards is in the live chat. What's up, Jabroni? Jabroni's a premium member at nooffseason.com. I'm going to go ahead and answer his question. He says, what is it that I'm cracking them into? Yeah. So I actually on Amazon a year ago, leading up to the 2023 National, where we cracked more than a couple hundred slabs for free for people. I bought 3 sneaker display cases off of Amazon. I think I paid maybe $50 total for 3 of them, maybe even less than that, $30 for 3 of them. So like $10. So they're plastic sneaker display cases, and they're actually perfect. I set my phone on top of it. So that's how I get this good video. And I use my pliers and my mini screwdrivers just within the sneaker display case, and it keeps most of the plastic shards. I would say it keeps 90% of the plastic shards in the box, and then I just dump it in the trash. So thanks for the question, Jabroni Cards. And this is a Drew Lock rookie ticket auto. So that play has to do with the backup quarterback article that I wrote at nooffseason.com. So go check that out. And then Baker Mayfield. I got 2 Baker Mayfield cards. One's a rookie ticket auto and one is a downtown. These are all BGS 9.5s in today's Willett Gem. And I think because they're all BGS 9.5s with very high subgrades, I think they all have a great chance of gemming. So I'm very, very excited. And Building Time Machine says you should do a video of cracking the new PSA slabs. I actually have. I did a video. I did a video of me cracking the new PSA slabs on the Sports Card Strategy Show a few weeks ago. One of them was a Joe Burrow. It's like they're like gooey. They're very gooey. And that I don't know if I don't know if that's the new PSA slab you're talking about, but there is a newer PSA slab that is like super, super gooey to crack. And it was weird. It took forever. But I did make it. Hector, while we're on this topic, says HGA slabs were my hardest to crack. Plastic would bend like gel. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say, Hector. Thanks for saying that. That's kind of what I felt like the new PSA slab felt like for me. Is it like it was gooey? It bended like gel. I must have cracked the older HGA slabs because the older HGA slabs were definitely a lot more like BGS, where they were just thick. Once you got the corners off, you were home free. And then this last one is my Joe Montana. So I did a Joe Montana BGS 8.5. I paid around $400 between $400 and $500 for it. It's going to have an upside if it gets a PSA 9 of around 900. It's going to have a downside, of a couple $100 less than what I paid for it. So it's a bit of a risk, but I'm willing to take the risk on some of these. So that was the 8.5. That was the only non-9.5. And then the Shohei Ohtani Topps Chrome pitching super liquid card. If I can get this in a PSA 10, it's going to sell right away for a little bit of profit. Not that much, but a little bit. Based on what I paid for it and based on what that card is going for. All right, had to take a sip of water there. Up next, we say hello to Phoenix Rising 2430. And we say hello to Duke Denny One-Time Dodson. Last week, we did hobby questions with Dustin, the sports card dad. This week, I asked Duke Denny One-Time Dodson of Graybo's some hobby questions. Let's check in. Printing plate or out of 99 auto?
So printing plate or to 99 auto, we don't have a lot of demand for printing plates in the shop. So I would take the auto to 99.
Card shows or eBay?
Card shows or eBay? Well, I'm glad eBay exists to provide this massive platform for folks to buy and sell pretty much anything in the world. I would choose card show. There's nothing like the energy of a card show, the people you meet, the deals you see go down, and you cut out a lot of the fees on both the buyer side and seller side by buying in person, in cash at a card show.
College uniform superfractor or pro uniform out of 25?
College uniform super or pro uniform to 25. I think I'm going to be in the minority here and go college uniform, only because I'm a big college sports fan. I love watching college football and basketball. A lot of players, when I think of them in their college jersey first, because that's where I first met them as a fan. And so I'm a big fan of like Bowman U and all that they're doing. And I hope 5, 10, 20 years from now that the college jersey stuff is just as popular as the pro jersey.
Unlicensed auto out of 5 or licensed auto out of 99?
We don't have a lot of luck selling unlicensed product in the store. And so I would take the licensed product almost all the time.
PSA 10 or BGS 10 pristine?
PSA 10 or BGS pristine 10. We see the pristine so infrequently. I think it's pretty sought after. It's just more rare. And so I would take the BGS pristine 10.
When chasing a new release, you A, buy a case, B, rip a hobby box, C, buy into a break, D, buy singles, E, all of the above, F, none of the above, or G, other. And please explain.
For a new release, if I have my kind of fun-loving, childlike hat on, I'll rip a hobby or I'll buy into breaks. I do enjoy those. If I have my adult investor hat on, then I'll just buy and sell singles.
What release do you most look forward to on the calendar each year?
The releases I look forward to in football and basketball, that's going to be Prism. And in baseball, I actually prefer Bowman Chrome over paper. I don't like paper as much, so give me Bowman Chrome.
What hobby event do you most look forward to on the calendar each year?
I guess is the national. However, you get to see a lot of people, meet a lot of people, a lot of celebrities, and that's cool, but it's always very hot and sweaty. My favorite, most comfortable event was the Mint Collective in Vegas, which I went to last year, and they don't do it anymore, and I wish they would start doing it again because I thought it was a great event.
All right. Thanks, Denny. Good to check in with Duke Denny One-Time Dodson over at Graybo's card shop over in Richmond, Virginia. Don't forget to use the promo code Graybos20 on Fanatics Live to get 20% off your first purchase there with Graybo's. All right. Let's go into the live chat real quick and answer some questions. So there's a lot of slab cracking fodder in the live chat. Love that. Good stuff, guys. Talking about Arena Club slabs, cool repacks. I cracked an Arena Club slab the same day that I cracked that jelly gooey PSA one. But yeah, I agree. SGC. Hector says SGC cracks in like 10 seconds. So flimsy. Yeah, totally. Very, very true. All right. Hector also asks, wouldn't new PSA vault increase formula profits if you grade and direct straight to vault, no shipping or sales tax? That's TBD, Hector. I don't think necessarily that it would, and here's why. Because it's definitely going to, what I like about the PSA vault, which used to be the eBay vault, right? What I like about it is that you can now send your cards directly to the PSA vault and sell them on eBay rather than shipping them back to yourself from PSA and selling them. So it does save you on like a $30 or $40 total shipping fee for like an order. But there still will be vault transaction fees when you sell from the PSA vault, like, and it'll depend on the price of the card. So the way that we've already built the formula is very conservative, and it already accounts for like really the highest possible rate that you would have to pay eBay or pay the PSA vault from selling from their eBay account, because you're selling from the PSA vault's eBay account. If you ship them to the PSA vault, it's almost exactly like, I don't know how many of you remember how PWCC used to be set up before they got kicked off of eBay. But back in 2021, the PWCC vault got kicked off of eBay. Before that, they had an eBay account where if you sent your cards to the PWCC vault, you could list them directly from their platform onto eBay, but it was through their eBay account. That's how this new PSA vault works. So my understanding is that you can't necessarily, if your cards are in the PSA vault, you can't necessarily list them through your eBay account. Maybe you can, but I think if you do that, you'd have to like ship them back to yourself, and then ship them, then get them, and then ship them to the eBay buyer. But I don't even know if they'll let you do that. I think I'm 99.9% sure, and I can confirm this on a future episode when I actually have some of my cards in the PSA vault, because I like to confirm from firsthand experience. I am 99.9% sure that you have to sell, once your cards are in the PSA vault, you're going to be listing them through PSA's eBay account the same way that you had to do through PWCC's eBay account in early 2021 and prior. So I think that while there will be some fees that you won't have to deal with by shipping cards to the PSA vault, I don't know that affects the formula. It could. We will see. But there will definitely still be fees to selling from PSA's eBay account when your cards are in the PSA vault. All right, that's a mouthful, but great question, Hector. I really think it's going to be it'll be the same. It will be more efficient. And it will put people in a situation where they don't have to handle their cards. Like, you can send your cards. I said this several months ago when this announcement first came out, and I stand by the fact that I like it for the hobby, because I like the option of being able to get a card, grade it at PSA, and really not have to handle it ever again after I send it to PSA. Now I have that option. And there will be some scenarios where I can make more money that way. And so I think that, I think that I'm right with everything I just said in terms of the accuracy of my statement around having to sell through PSA's eBay account. And, but I like to have, at this point, I'm probably wanting the card in hand, because it gives me the option of selling it at a card show. And now that I've been back in the US for almost 2 full years now since I moved back from Spain, and I think this is a great, there's no doubt I would be using PSA's vault for everything if I still lived overseas, or if I were just traveling all the time and like didn't want to ever have to handle my cards. I think that's another thing. I mean, a lot of you do this card flipping thing as a part-time gig, but you have you all have other things in your life that take up way more time and energy, whether it be family or whether it be career related stuff or other hobbies than flipping sports cards. But you're obsessed, you're addicted to this show and to making money flipping sports cards. And I get that. I am too. So this gives you another option. Sometimes I don't even want to have to deal with stuff. So being able to be in the game and not have to deal with stuff, I like it as another option. All right, everybody. Don't forget to get a free 30-day trial of nooffseason.com today to start learning our guidelines, strategies, and plays to help you make money flipping sports cards to fund your PC and other things in your life. Sports Card School, which I talked about earlier in the episode, is a safe place for noobs, advanced flippers, and high rollers alike to learn how to navigate the hobby and ultimately build a collection that increases in value. Go to sportscardschool.com. Everybody, thanks so much for joining me on the Sports Card Strategy Show. I'm Paul Hickey. Have a great day. Thanks so much for being here with us on the Sports Card Strategy Show. To connect with us further, please subscribe to the YouTube channel at youtube.com/Paul Hickey. Please also give us a follow on Instagram at Sports Card Strategy and on X at No Off Season Card. We also have a Discord that you could join at sportscardstrategy.com. Everyone, I'm Paul Hickey. For the rest of us here at nooffseason.com, have a great day. We'll see you again soon.